Remember, before you do anything else, before you get sidetracked, before you minimize this, before you do anything else, hit the thumbs up button on this video. The thumbs up button helps push Wingbits content like this to other people on YouTube. It has nothing to do with if you like my fancy graphics or lack of or anything like that. The algorithm works that by liking this video, hitting that thumbs up, when other people looking for Wingbits, this will get pushed to them so they can get the updates, and it helps the project. If you want to help the project, hit the thumbs up. Also subscribe so you can keep up with all the passive income projects we got going on right now. Welcome back to another video. It's been a very busy day. In between working my real job, I've also been trying to keep up with big changes that happened in Wingbits. We got kind of a heads up on this yesterday in the Pioneer section, since a couple of us were alpha members way in the beginning of this, and kind of gave some of our feedback back. And you know, they don't call me grumpy for no reason. I had to earn that name. And as my wife says, I don't like change. And it took me a little while to understand what is going on here. And it's kind of a drastic change, but it's for the better. And I really think, especially the new people coming in to this project, are really going to like this. So if you want to hear about that, stay tuned for more. This video is brought to you by CB Synthetics. CB Synthetics is an authorized retailer for AMSOIL synthetic lubricants. AMSOIL started the synthetic game back in the early 70s and has led the industry ever since then. Independent testing has repeatedly shown that AMSOIL lasts longer, protects longer for your valuable toys and vehicles and everything else. Look into AMSOIL. You can go to www.cbsynthetics.com or check Facebook, search CB space synthetics to see my Facebook AMSOIL page. So my first thing that grumpied me today is I want to address some of the loudmouths in the room. Some of the people who are perfect, people who have never made a mistake in their life, people who have the foresight to see well into the future, can tell if a project's going to be successful. Please teach us your ways. Because most people I know, if you were able to tell from the beginning if a project was going to be successful, why are you not a gazillionaire by now? Why are you still playing with us in Helium mining Facebook groups? Yes, several of us thought defli was going to be a great project. I'll be one to still say to this day that the principle behind what defli said they were trying to accomplish, there is a real need for that. With the FAA approving, I can't remember the initials, beyond line of sight, BLOS, for drones and stuff like that. With my job in public safety, with the seminars that I have been going to for the last 7 or 8 months, there is a need for, and there are companies who are doing this, so don't act like nobody's doing this, but there is a need for some of the stuff that defli says they were going to do. However, well, let me back up. Me knowing that was one reason why I attached myself to defli, because where they were coming from in the beginning, there was a need for that. But I'm not going to hammer out what the issues were with defli. That has been done well along. Plus, I have another 3-4 weeks I have to go before getting another copyright infringement complaint on me from defli for YouTube videos I made with their permission. I can't afford a third one. I just made 3,000 subscribers. Thank y'all very much for 3,000 subscribers. I'm getting way off key here. I don't want to lose my train of thought. But once we started seeing those issues that were popping up, and look, some people had some things about it, like, oh, we tried to ping this IP address, it didn't work. Look, internet security, firewall security, just because you ping a server and it don't work don't mean nothing. But once certain things were said were going to happen, and I'm not going to rehash all this stuff, I then joined the other side and said, because I feel somewhat responsible for bringing certain people in, and I felt now that I have to warn as many people as I can that there are some question marks about that, and do your own research. I'm not saying somebody tomorrow can't take over that whole project and it could become legit. My point is, nobody saw that coming in the beginning. Helium is not resurrected, and the IoT side is not resurrected and going to be all great and everything. If you're going to sit here and tell me sarcastically the helium is dead, moved, whatever, you can go fly a kite, man. If you can't see the writing on the wall that helium shifted towards mobile, and then the big contract they just signed with Mexico, which is going to burn a hell of a lot of HNT, which is going to help the price action. It's going to help that helium mobile networking. If you think the reason that helium, and let me tell you right now, anybody who saw helium in 4 months go from $1 something to $10 on your bingo cards, you lie. And it ain't because of IoT or that network on the IoT side that brought it up to $10. Wake up. Now, yes, you have Weather XM using the Helium network. You have the Demo Macrons using the Helium network. I don't think that costs it to go from $1 something to $10 today. I'm sorry. Look at this wick. I didn't even see this wick. This wick was earlier. Let me see if I can narrow that in. 9:15 this morning, it hit $11. It ain't because of the IoT network. And you're making me show my bald head. Sorry, guys. You can say what you want. This is the mobile side. Even with all the issues CBRS is having that everybody's complaining about, this isn't because of IoT. So you can sit here and try to call me out. Dude, I'm almost 50 years old. I did give blood today. So now some nice, some person who is all frail and fragile and, and might be, borderline starving to death and needs blood will become instantly obese if they get my blood because it's got more fat than probably protein in it. Saying that, nobody saw the future. So you are right. defli was bad. Congratulations. You want a cookie? This is where my whole point of this entire rant is this. If you didn't catch this video, which is the previous video I just made, there is a reason why we are involved in all these projects. So if this guy can tell me now, hey, are any of these going to be better? I mean, because apparently you know the future. So when you went in the future and you figured this out, you came back, hey man, tell me which one of these. So if Demo is going to be the one that hits it and the rest of these don't, let me know now so I can buy more Demo devices. Even if I got to buy them on eBay. I mean, you know everything. This is why I tell everybody this gangster mentality, if this is what you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, that, oh, you have to be with us in Helium. You have to be with us in defli, because that's where I heard a lot of this from. You can't be involved in Wingbits if you're down with defli. I'm pointing, this is where the monitor is for me, that I'm looking at this screen right here. I'm going to be involved in all of them, and I could be wrong. And that's why I tell everybody in every one of these videos, this is not financial advice. This is what I'm doing. This is me trying to explain it to my other 40, 50-year-old, 60-year-old people out here who don't understand what some of this stuff means. I'm trying to keep it, look at this production value. I'm not trying to do nothing fancy. I'm just trying to keep it real for people. There's nothing wrong with trying different projects, and guess what? They might not work out. I'm also staking Atom, in ADA, in Soul, in Vet, in Crow, and now Osmo. I am DCing it. $10 this week, maybe $20 in each one of these coins next week, and some other coins. And guess what? Atom, I told you all for a long time with the Exodus wallet, Atom was making me 20-something%. Is your savings account making you 20% on your $7 you have in your savings account? ADA is making it. Despite if you like the project or not, I'm still making my percentage of staking in it. My soul is making it. My vet's making it. Crow. I have a Crow card. Why a lot of people didn't get Crow cards, I don't know. But you're still going to pay bills with a debit card. You might as well move it to Crow and make it. I've made thousands and thousands of tokens by staking and using a Crow card in Osmo. So just because I like the Crow program doesn't mean I can't like Hive Mapper. This mentality in crypto that you can't, that you have to be a certain way, it's BS, man. It's just BS. You have to be for crypto, period, right now. We're at this point with this government right now, and I'm not making this a Democrat or Republican thing, because even though I've said before I'm Republican, I'm more conservative. I'm not happy with the Republicans right now. I'm not happy with the Democrats right now. It is what it is. People want to talk about how a cycle and Bitcoin cycle and everything, and what's going to happen in 2 or 3 months with this cycle and stuff like that. With who we have in the office right now, what's going to happen in March if they say, you know what, y'all think we're lowering it, we're not going to lower it, or interest rates, inflation ain't going down like we wanted to, we might have to go up on it. All this stuff is going to be wrecked. Yes, it's going to recover. Yes, we're still going to have a bull cycle, but all these people, if you think that Bitcoin is going to continue to go straight up like this, you are, you're fooling yourself. It's going to correct. People are going to start losing it. It's going to go down to 40-something thousand, and it is what it is. So for crypto in a whole, we have to stop this and just support crypto, or keep your mouth shut. Moving on. All right. Now that I got that out of my system, I'm back on the beach and everything's cool. I just had to get that out of my system. Like I said, it's been a long day, and that's kind of negativity, I don't understand it. But anyway, so Wingbits came out with a new, I don't even call it a program, compensation, new way of signing up. Like I said, at first, I didn't know how I felt about it. And now, they actually did a live, they call it a stage, kind of like an AMA, instant kind of live thing. They got onto Discord, the guys, and I said this again, the kids say, if I'm throwing shade, I'm throwing shade. I don't care. But the fact that these guys knew that there would be some people, old farts like me, who probably questioned why or when or anything like that, and they were willing to take that head on, instantly get into this stage, if you want to call it that, and they took it on, and anybody who questioned it or anything like that, they were willing to answer questions about it, explain what was going on with it. And people had questions. And once they kind of came, instead of trying to explain the stuff on Discord and that kind of stuff like that, to me, it came out a lot clearer, the fact that they were sitting here explaining it to us, what their reason or thought is. And yes, it's people like me who've been alpha and then beta since probably this time last year, close to it. And they knew some of us would be a little upset, but we have to be honest. The fact that several of us were able to buy all these hexes, and anybody who came in, that did look bad. That, everything in your area would have been purchased. So, if you live in here in, Texas, think about it. The whole state is basically, this is Texas, north, south, west side, east side right here. Half the state of Texas is purchased. So if you lived anywhere around here, your hexes were covered. This is the whole northeast of the United States. You lived around here, like I was trying to help a guy that lives up in here somewhere to give the best possible coverage just so he can possibly purchase some of these hexes. It was getting to be a bit much. This was even worse. So once you had 3 people who purchased it, they were then owners of those hexes. And like I said, and I did a video before, you'd be surprised how far your coverage can get. And you could still put, antennas up on miners, whatever you want to call them here, and still get compensated as supporters. But they knew that was a logic that was not going to be beneficial long run. Plus, talking to their potential customers or clients or, you know, whoever they were talking to about more antennas in certain areas to make sure that there was redundancy and that kind of stuff like that. They realized that this Hex 3 model that was going on was not beneficial long run. And again, I appreciate that these guys are that involved, that they're willing to change the game, if you say, or change their way of looking at it, their thinking about it, basically change. And they knew that they were going to hear stuff about this stuff, and they still took it on the chin and approached it, you know, and they took it. So first, before that we go any further, like, this is my hexes, this is what I purchased, and I told you, I always speak straight up with y'all. You know, I am covering, I have 6 or 7 miners stretched out from Lafayette. I have one that's about to go up in Gulfport, but I have some on the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain right here, and I have them almost down south to the Gulf. So my stations were spread out in this, but I was covering, you know, this whole area right here where I had hexes. So they come out with an announcement today about they are changing, basically they're eliminating hex purchases, and there'll be no more worrying about purchasing a hex or anything like that. They're also going from a hex 3 resolution to a hex 6 resolution. What's that means? I'll show you in a minute. But one of the biggest things is, and this seemed to be, you know, one of the big sticklers that a lot of people had questioned about was, you know, what's going to happen is if I have a live antenna in a certain hex, I'm going to get that hex. And we'll discuss that again also in a second. Also, if you purchase hexes, like me, I purchased 12 or 13 hexes. My family member purchased 4. My family member will have the option. You will be sent an email with a form, and that form will be, hey, thank you for purchasing 4 hexes. However, with our new plan, that's not needed. Would you like your $80 back? I think you paid $20 per hex. 4 hexes, that's $80. Would you like your $80 back now, ma'am? Or if you wish, we will give you, my sister was part of the beta side, so she wasn't an alpha. So the beta gets 110% of the hex purchase. So, you know, what is that? $22 worth of whatever the token's going to be or something like that. My point is 110% of the hex purchase value. You have that choice. Me, my financial advice, what I'm doing, I'm already out the money. I'm not worried about it. I am fully dedicated to Wingbits. I'm 100% behind the project. I'm just going to do the 150% of tokens for my 11, 12, 13 hexes I have. You can do either one. You have people who are asking about, can I get half my hexes back in money and other half in tokens? No, it's an either or thing. You can choose on the form that you get emailed, which one would you like? And that's basically it. So your live antennas will automatically be assigned to the hex that it's in. What they explained to us in the live stage was, if you have 2 antennas, or there's somebody else who owns an antenna that happens to be in your hex, they'll just assign you the closest one to that hex. Saying that, because I know this question is going to come up, there is no area for error, if that makes sense. There is none of this game that I need the hex next to me and I'm just going to fudge my GPS. They explain that they have an algorithm or a way to figuring that out. And I'm just spitballing here, but I know there was a way before one of the other projects about figuring out the RSSI triangulation. They can tell basically about RSSI of the planes you're picking up or something like that, of telling whether or not you were fudging your location or not. But you will basically, from now on, you will put an antenna up in a hex, one antenna in one hex, and that's it. So what's the difference in hexes look like to me? That's what probably some people are going to ask. You know, I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. You know, there's a balance I'm trying to make between making this video too long, getting enough content. I know people don't watch the whole videos. I can see that. I can see the reports back. I'm trying to help y'all out, you know, I'm sure some of y'all are not going to watch this and then still ask questions. But right now, this is a Hex 3. Right now, if I want to put, you know, a Helium miner, if I want to put a Wingbits device, antenna miner, whatever you want to call it, into one of these hexes, I just figure out my GPS and put it in there. And then if I'm covering this area, I'm purchasing these hexes. So I'll give you a link to this map in my description. But basically, you zoom into resolution 6. When you're in resolution 6, you'll see that now in the New Orleans area, you know, we went from, you know, one hex covering this whole, you know, almost to Baton Rouge into New Orleans. Now, when you go into 6, you can see that there's a lot of hexes now between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. So right now, we'll use this area for example. So right now, you know, I have a Wingbits device somewhere, which is close to the Superdome. I'm going to zoom in just so I can kind of get an idea where I'm at right here. So right now, I'm having a miner that's here in the Superdome. If you're familiar with the New Orleans Saints play, I have a Wingbits device about a block away from here. I have another Wingbits device right here where it says Lakeshore. So, and this is right next to a airport, which the airport is, look right here, it says New Orleans Lakefront Airport, if y'all can see that. So, with the water, I'm picking up all the planes and stuff like that. But anyway, so right now, let me get back to resolution 6. So when I have this, so when they go and assign it, this hex now should belong to me for this miner, and this hex should belong to me. I'll get a sign there. That's, you have to have these set up right now, or, you know, in the next couple of days for when they start assigning these. If you don't have a miner assigned, I mean, online, you will not get that hex assigned to you. We'll come back to that. Now, the question comes in is if somebody else has a miner set up right here, what's going to happen? Well, whoever was first, now mine has been set up since last year when we were in alpha, beta, whatever it was. I'm guessing I would be first. The person who might have put one on there a month or two ago, the Wingbits team will give them the closest hex. So you might get this hex that's over water, and you might see people with a hex over water. The Wingbits team is allowed to do that. That's the team. So they might give that miner here. Once, you know, if I wanted to put another one up for coverage, they're saying once you put that one miner up in this area, there's no more miners that can go in that area. Guys, y'all know I'm a straight shooter. And I know, you know, I'm not employed by Wingbits or anybody else other than where I work full time. That has nothing to do with this. I'll call it like it is. I don't know if I care for that. I understand where they're trying to get to, where, hey, we're trying to open up more of this area, where before this whole area was one hex 3. Now they've narrowed it down, you know, because of trees and because of different things that's around here. You know, once I get one hex that's right here on Lakeshore, I think with all this, a huge city park right here, gigantic oak trees. There's some buildings on this backside. To me, if I put another miner here, it would give it adequate coverage. What they're saying is no. They believe that with my miner here and then another miner here, that's giving enough coverage here. You know, somebody else has a miner here, that's enough, because you can't look at it as I'm providing coverage here. What we're really providing coverage here, and I'm zooming all the way out, is my miner here is really providing coverage all around here. So my 2 or 3 miners right here, that's, I can barely move the mouse, is really providing coverage all the way around. And that is one thing I will admit that I kind of got wrong early when I was discussing with them. And once they told me that, is don't zoom up. Resolution 6 is strictly for miner assignment, and that's it. You're still going to be compensated for what you're covering in hex 3s. Yes, that gets confusing. And basically, what they're trying to say is where my miners, so in the past, when you had these green hexes right here, and any of these hexes right here were green, and you provided coverage for those hexes, kind of like what I'm doing. As you can see right here, I don't know if I clicked on it, it'd be a mistake. But anyway, right now, these planes are in those green hexes. Now, these green hexes are going to be at maximum rewards, and anybody who is giving that now, who can reach that, is going to be rewarded with the max rewards. You don't have to worry about owning it and having to go buy all these hexes that you're covering. So the reward should be equaled out a lot better. I will also take this opportunity, just because of the mood I'm in, all the naysayers that want to continue to argue with me, and I know I've covered this in my last 2 videos, and I'm going to cover it again. Y'all want to argue with me about antennas and gain and everything else. You see these blue lines up here? These blue lines represent where it has covered planes still. You see this blue line right here? 420 miles. Y'all want to keep arguing with me about antennas? Here we tracked the plane almost to Orlando. 500 miles. People want to still argue with me about antennas when I try to tell them what antennas to be using. You can see where my white line is. This is 200 miles. You see this line right here? This line is 200 miles. And I'm getting planes 252 miles right here. 230 miles. So it's not like it's a once in a while thing. 250 miles. 260 miles. But y'all want to keep arguing with me about what antenna to use and argue with me about 12 dB versus 9 dB versus 5.5 dB. And I'm trying to tell y'all, this is not a project for high gain. You're not transmitting. You're not trying to get a signal out. You're trying to receive. The high gains hurt you. So going back, I'm going to use another example. This is the New York, Northeast, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area, Philadelphia, and stuff like that. And right now, this is the Hex 3. So basically, y'all know what that looked like when I showed y'all that earlier. This is what the Hex 3 looks like. You can see it's all purchased. Now, this is all going away. And when you go back to this, so instead of it looking like this, you're now going to have this. And you can put an antenna by each one of these hexes, inside one of these hexes. So here's Baltimore now. You know, where you went from here, where now you had Baltimore and all this in one hex, Washington, D.C. to Baltimore to Easton, you know, into Delaware, or Philadelphia, all the way to Lancaster, all these different areas like that. You know, New York itself was one gigantic hex. Once 3 people bought that, it was out. Now, when you zoom into New York, look how many hexes you have just broken New York into that you can put a ground station at. And everybody gets equally, you know, distributed rewards. So, you know, I hope everybody kind of understands this. I'm sure you're going to have some kind of questions and stuff like that. Go into the Wingbits Discord, understand what they're trying to do. Again, I'll have a link to that map on there so y'all can kind of see where your own Wingbits stuff is. There's a lot of people in here asking questions, but get into the Wingbits Discord, you know, and for some people, this is going to be a good thing because now you don't have to purchase a hex. These guys feel that you will be purchasing your own product, your own boxes, your own SDRs, your own antennas, that's an investment enough in it. And that they don't need the $20 from your hexes. They want you to get involved in the project. So a couple of things I want to hit on real quick before I close this out. If you own a hex and you have not deployed an antenna, but would like to get a token airdrop instead of a refund, you have until February 28th to deploy the antenna in order to be eligible for a token airdrop. So you have 13 days from today to get some type of antenna up in that area that you said you were putting it. They want us to make sure that we are updating and checking our antenna locations to make sure that they're accurate. For example, they have one registered in China, one in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Big thing is that I've seen is if you have, when you do your latitude, longitude, on your longitude, if you don't put a negative in front of it, and you're supposed to have a negative, you're on the wrong side of the world, buddy. So make sure that you have all that correct. So I want to hit on again. I'm using Bitharvest in all of my Wingbits installs from now on. Why? I can easily do that. You know, you have all these different, these other ones. You have crank. Some of y'all are in the crank. So you can triple mine now. You can triple mine crank, Wingbits, and Helium. Things 1X understands on a holding pattern. They have honey gain and pawns right here. If y'all into that bandwidth sharing type thing, I'm hoping to get grass soon. Y'all know I'm in grass. And I'm sure they get some other projects. But strictly hanging us on Wingbits, I mean, you know, keeping this to a Wingbits subject, they have Wingbits, and this is their Discord. For $19.99, you get a firmware license for this, and that's it. It's a $20 one-time license. You pay it in crypto. You can pay it in their Bitharvest token, and they got some other options. If you want the yearly subscription, the premium one, where they can remote into it for you if there's any kind of issue or anything like that, you can pay $15.99 for a year, and they'll handle it all for you. I think these are some great options for, you know, putting one project on one pie is complete overkill, in my opinion. You know, and look, you don't have to do all these right now. You can do one or two. None of this is financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. So in closing, I started this off with a rant. I guess I'll finish it with a rant. All these people who made fun of me, I told them that you better buy Solana at $8 and $10, $12, even up to $18, $20. Buy. They made fun of me and all this stuff like that. And because of FTT and all that debacle with all that, I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I collected on Solana and people thought it was dead. And here we are. But my point, I'm joking about the whole, you know, how you like me now stuff. But all this stuff is up right now. And I'm hearing people say, man, all this stuff's up and everything like that. And I have, you know, HNT. And, you know, over and over and over, I'm a big fan of Adam. And you look at what Adam was, and I'm collecting it when it was way down here. But you go back and look at how much it was with back in the bull market. And one thing I'm telling people is, you're right, it was way up here for the bull market. And it's still down 50, 60, 70%. Some of these coins, you know, vet, people make fun of me with vet and stuff like that. And you look at how vet used to be. But one thing I'm telling people is these coins, or some of these coins are still down 70, 80, 90% from their all-time highs. That's 70, 80, 90% to get back to their all-time highs. In the bull market, as a strong project, not financial advice, but you could see these well go past there. So yes, Conrad, me, still says we're looking at a big correction at some point. I showed a buddy today at work how, you know, back when some of these past halvings occurred and different things like that, you know, you had these big crashes and dips right before halvings and different things like that. But I still say that at some point we're going to see something. But I also say all bets are off this time. You got a completely different person in the office than that was in office for the last two bull markets. They're talking about inflation and what's happened to our economy, different things like that. Crypto is a worldwide thing, I will say, but I still see some kind of correction happening before the halving. And when you look at the date of the last halving, there was also a crash after the halving. So what I'm getting at, and I'm confusing everybody, is what I'm saying is, yes, you are later than you could have been buying here, if that makes sense. You're late to the party at this point. But when you look at this point, you're very early to the party. AVAX, you know, you hear more and more stuff, people building on it. You're right. Avex was $9, $12, even $19, and it's 40 now. It was 50 a couple of days ago, last month. It looks like you're late to the party, but you're not. $144 back here. And this is before people were building all kinds of stuff on it, like they are now. You know, even Solana, you were at $250, $260. And that's before all these people were building stuff on it like they are now. And you got more and more projects every day. You ever want to see something funny? Go look at the amount of new coins being shilled out on Solana every day, every hour. It's stupidly crazy. You know, I've been wrong the last couple of months about Helium, and they have people in the Discord saying, hey, Helium's going $1. They were buying more and more. And this is the difference with this YouTube channel. I can admit when I was wrong. Can you? I said that must be crazy buying that. Again, I was not thinking more broadly out the box. I was comparing it strictly to IoT. If this project had to continue to rely on this IoT project, I don't see it going past this. I'm sorry, I don't. You know, you $1.30 right here. We talked about this. Now, where is it going to go from here? Is can mobile keep carrying it? Can we get back to here? Can we 5-6x our money strictly on Helium? Who knows? Maybe the yo-yo that's over there in the Facebook group can tell us, since he's the freaking expert, right? But I don't know if Mexico using all this network and stuff is going to burn these tokens. Can it come back here? We haven't even started the bull market yet. You know, we talked about a lot of these other coins being down 80-90% and still 4x and 3x and 5x in your money. Why couldn't Helium? It's a project being used especially when you tie it over to some of the IoT stuff with some projects using it, but your mobile stuff, that they have another Solana phone coming out at some point later this year, next year, whenever it is, these other places, who knows? So when you look at it like this, you're right. You might be late buying a token that does this. When you zoom out, you're still way early. Just remember all that. So in closing, I'm gonna wrap all this up. I know majority of y'all ain't here no more. Like I said, I've been watching the algorithms and stuff like that. I know most of you only watching a couple of minutes of this, so majority of y'all ain't here no more. Guess I gotta do another giveaway at some point at the end of the video for the 3 people that still stay here this long. But I'll tell you what, anybody who stayed here to this point right now, I have one to give away. I'll give away a SDR, a black one. I have a black SDR sitting here next to me, and I have a VHF one. If anybody wants a yellow VHF, one person, whoever has it, whoever comments that they liked and followed and subscribed to this, and somehow shows me proof of that or something, I don't know. Let me know. Anybody who stayed this long, and I will send you an SDR, as long as you're in the United States. I'm not paying for shipping across the world for a $35 SDR. If you're in the United States and you're here this long and you liked it and you subscribed and all that stuff like that, let me know and I will send you a SDR. Everybody else, make sure you join my Twitter. I do drop some stuff on Twitter. Grumpy Dad at Grumpy Dad 56. Also, please don't forget I have my other channel. I got 5 subscribers. It ain't taking off like I thought it would. Somehow these videos did very good when they were on this channel, but the algorithm was hurting me because I was mixing up the content. That's YouTube for you. And I broke it off to this one, and this page is struggling. So make sure y'all go like my other one, Grumpy Dad Outdoors. There is a link in the description. In case any of y'all missed it, I did post 2 parades from our area. It's a small town where I work at, smaller town in South Louisiana. And I did post 2 live parade footages of stuff that, you know, one I'm streaming from inside of a car. The other one is the stream that the office put on Facebook for everybody in the public to see. It cuts through different cameras at different times, and you can see different parts of the parade and stuff like that. That would be this one like this. And just in case y'all want to see what a parade looks like in a smaller town, not the crazy New Orleans one, even though this one had some pretty decent crowds in some spots, as you'll see. But and this one right here is just a small little community that Puts a couple of trucks and stuff like that for a parade, very small community parade. Just in case y'all want to see that with Mardi Gras just finishing up over here in South Louisiana. So in closing, please make sure y'all are subscribed. Please make sure you like this video. Again, when you press like, it ain't because you agree with my videos and how great the, all the fancy graphics are and stuff like that. It's because on a Wingbits video, when you hit the thumbs up, it's pushing Wingbits content to people on YouTube. If it's a Bitharvest video, if it's a Modus Mini video, and you press thumbs up, it is supporting Modus Mini and getting that information out to people on YouTube. So please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're following. I'm doing a lot of videos right now. I got a Weather XM video I'm also working on right now, but with this breaking news coming in from Bitharvest, with Wingbits, I wanted to hurry up and get this in. So I'll drop this video today, which is Thursday, and then probably first thing in the morning, I'll drop this other video from Weather XM if I'm ready for it. So for anybody who made this long, thank you all very much, and see y'all in the next video.